Alright everybody, welcome back to the Black Gold Homestead. Today we have a quick flower video for you, showing you some of our perennial flowers, but mostly we're going to be showing you our irises. About now through the beginning of June, the tall bearded irises will be in bloom, and some of your flag irises, depending on where you are in the country. We are in Pennsylvania, so right now they're just starting to come into prime bloom, but they will be blooming from now into June, and we're going to share some of the ones that we have with you. Some of these are older irises that we've had for quite a few years. You'll be able to tell that by the size of the clump they're in. Some of them are just real small plants, they've never bloomed before, and others are blooming for the first time now. We buy those from an iris garden not too far from us. And we have a video, I believe we have a video slideshow of that, a couple of those irises that we can link down below. So let's get started. First off here, you'll see that we have some alliums. These are purple alliums, which is a member of the onion family. They're a perennial bulb and they bloom every year. The bees really enjoy them. You'll see another clump of alliums back here. Now down here we have Star of Bethlehem. It's a bulbous flower. They come up kind of everywhere. They're just real small and grass-like, but they get nice little white flowers. They can be a little invasive though. Here is an iris. This one's just beginning to bloom. You can see it's a good sized clump, so it's one of our older iris plants. It has deep purple falls and a kind of a light purple lilac color flag, and you can see the beard there. That's how it's a bearded iris. Now bearded irises come in several sizes. These are tall beardeds, which are my favorites. This clump actually has never ever bloomed. It's a big clump. It should have bloomed, but as far as I know, it never has. And I planted it here a couple years ago. I'm thinking it might be actually a little too overcrowded. Irises like to be a little open, and they like their rhizomes to be exposed to the sun. Down here you'll see we have one that's about to bud. This is a Bridal Veil white iris. It's a pure white iris, has a little bit of a tinge of baby blue, and the edges of the petals are fringed, which is why it's called a Bridal Veil iris. And this one's going to have a lot of blooms on it this year, I can already tell. Now here you can see the rhizome. They don't grow from a bulb, they grow from a rhizome, which is a modified piece of stem that grows above the ground. When they grow... Alright guys, sorry about that break, our battery died, but I was talking about the rhizomes. Irises grow out of a rhizome, which is a flattened piece of stem. It's not a bulb. You can see the rhizome here. This is an old piece, and as they grow out, they form new rhizomes. They bloom best when the rhizomes are exposed to the sun. If they are allowed to quote-unquote bake, they will bloom better the following year, which may be a problem with this last clump, the same as the one down the beginning. The rhizomes are buried and it's in a real tight clump, so I don't think it's getting enough heat and sun in order to bloom. So what I'll have to do is divide it, give it more room, and actually plant it higher above the ground. Here you can see we have yarrow. This is herbal. We have daisies. A lot of this I grew from seed or cuttings. And we have a lot of cone flowers in here I grew from seed. Well, really they grew themselves from seed. This is a comfrey. This is medicinal, and a lot of people make a tea out of it. And they also make fertilizer out of it. And it's just beginning to come into bloom. Behind this bench, you'll see that we have a peach-colored iris. This is actually my favorite. We had some storms and a lot of rain, which caused it to flop over. But it does have some blooms on it. It is my all-time favorite color on an iris, I think. Underneath of it, we have some variegated bugleweed that's getting the purple flowers, and some other little plants. Azaleas in this bed blooming. We have hostas coming up. We have lily of the valley, which is the small low growing plants with the white flowers. Dianthus, Here's Lily of the Valley. And Lily of the Valley has a very good scent to it. You can see a pinkish purple azalea, a lot of different bulbs, mint. We have Lily of the Valley again. May apples, they're finishing up blooming, but they're a pretty cool plant. Lamb's ear, to name a few. Alright guys, so as I was saying, this bed here that runs along our driveway is pretty much hardscaped. We have boxwoods for winter, year-round structure actually. And then we have some clumps of daffodils that have finished blooming. But at the end of it, I have started planting a couple irises. They're new young starts that I bought from the iris garden not too far from us. And they haven't bloomed yet. Also up here, I have planted some new young iris starts. 2 of them had buds. 1 got broken off, and then 1 did bloom. This is a very, very deep purple iris. It's almost black. Irises do not come in a true black color. They only come in shades of purple that are very dark. They look black to the naked eye. So that one is one that I planted last year. It's its first time blooming. And there's 4 others here. They're different shades of black and red. I have another little iris start. It was planted last year. It won't bloom yet. And here's another one that was planted last year. Just one little piece so far, won't bloom yet either. Now down here by our pond, we have a Weigelia bush. That'll be blooming soon, and matter of fact, it's already started. Our lily pad has not bloomed yet, but it's coming up really well. Now over here, you'll see our flag iris. This iris has more grass-like leaves and smaller flowers, of course, but it lacks the beard. If you look in there, you'll see there's no beard on the flowers, and it's purple. We also have some of our native wild phlox blooming. This grows all around this area. And there's some other plants in the bed too. And to finish up the tour, I'll show you our biggest, oldest clump of iris. There's another young one that hasn't bloomed yet. I'm always dividing them, and I'll buy new ones if I see one that I like the color of. But of course, here is our big iris starting to come into bloom. This one always puts on a great show. It's a German variety of iris. It's a bearded iris, purple and white, and it does occasionally rebloom in the fall. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys liked seeing our perennial flowers. Of course, they're beautiful. They're also good for the pollinators, and we enjoy growing them here. And thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.